Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Emilio Suarez and we're gonna be talking about how to write a low budget script. How can I write a low budget screenplay? Isn't that the job of the producers and everybody who's gonna make the film to make it as low budget as possible? I guess you already know that if you put a lot of things that cost a lot of money, like explosions or bridges falling or anything like that, it's gonna be expensive. So you're gonna have to be thinking about how can I go with a story that doesn't need a lot of money. Why? Because if you're like me and you don't have a lot of money or people who can help you to develop your screenplay, you need something that can be made with the least money possible. And you want to do things that you can present to people, that you can take to festivals, and maybe if you can maybe put it in a local theater so you can show it and maybe get some money from it. Of course, this doesn't apply that much to people that can take their screenplays and present them to a big company, and that company is gonna buy your screenplay. That's what we all want. But some of us, what we want is to see our stories get made and get seen by as many people as possible. That's what we want. And sometimes it can take a lot of time and a lot of work, and you never see your story in the big screen because it's extremely difficult to get into the big screen. I'm talking right now about the whole package, I'm talking about you already have your film. But let's go back, because what we are interested here is how we can write it as low budget as possible. I saw a movie a couple of weeks ago, and it's this movie here, It Follows. I bought this movie, I think, last year. I saw the movie and I was really impressed with the movie. At the beginning, I was a little bit like, I don't think I'm liking the movie, but because I was having an expectation that it wasn't the expectation that the movie needed. The only thing that the movie needed was the opportunity, the chance to get watched, and after that, everything was wonderful. This movie, directed and written by David Robert Mitchell, tells a story about a girl who's been followed by a supernatural person because of a sexual encounter. And it was really great and fun in a way that it was creepy. And when I saw the movie, I wanted to talk about that because that's a thing that I usually do with my screenplays, and I haven't thought about talking to you about this until now. The first thing that I do after I write something, I just present that to the director and the producer. They give me all the feedback that I need. If I have to change something, they ask me a bunch of questions about the story, and I try to punch them in any way that I can. And after that, we just sit down again, line by line, checking out how can we make that, and if we can make it as economically as possible. Why? Because sometimes we put ourselves in a situation when we say, I'm writing this epic story, Game of Thrones level. Yeah, maybe you recollect some money or something, maybe a couple of $1,000, but the money's gonna disappear so fast you're not even gonna notice. Years ago, I read an article by a screenwriter uh, who says that when he was going to write something, he made a list of all the things that he had around that he can find. Like maybe he has somebody who owns an office, so he can use that office, or knows a couple of people that have beautiful cars, or the guy had a friend who knows martial arts. Wasn't an actor, but he knows martial arts. So he used him as part of the story. So he recollect all of those things and made stories with what he can find. It's not about taking everything and write it as small as possible. It means that take everything that you have and create the biggest story that you can with it. And if you don't have money, if you have to write something from an inside of a house because that's the only thing that you have, you can create something extremely big and extremely powerful with just those elements. The only thing that you really, really need are great characters. Great characters is what you need. And how are you going to put all those characters together? How they're gonna react? How they're gonna change? Because that's what movies are about. That's what stories are about. This movie didn't have a lot of money. I was looking at the page in the International Movie Database, and it says that the budget, estimated budget, was $1 million. $1 million is a lot for us, but for them, it's nothing. Nothing. They didn't use a lot of special effects. The special effects that they used can be made. Maybe for us, we need a little bit more of money to do them, to make them, but they did it. And you never see. I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but the only thing that you have is something that is the protagonist, following the protagonist at a slow pace. So when the writer wrote this screenplay, he was thinking about the those kind of questions that the audience is always making, like he's so slow, the person can go away, they just need to move to another state. Yeah, but they resolve that here because maybe you can run from one state to the other, but there's gonna be a moment when that thing is gonna get to you because that thing doesn't eat, that thing doesn't sleep, doesn't get tired. So just imagine those things. You can write whatever you want. You can write a story about the war, but you don't have the money for the explosions or the guns or the airplanes or any of that. Then just tell the story from a character inside of a house. And the only thing that you need are the sound effects, the sound, okay? And maybe something here and there in the windows, and that's it. That's the only thing that you need to do. It's gonna be some kind of Anne Frank story that is gonna be contained, but it's gonna do the thing that maybe you want to do it, and it's impress the people with the things that are happening outside. The audience doesn't need to see everything, okay? That's why audience don't like stories with a lot of exposition. They want to discover things by themselves. So people don't necessarily need to see everything, but they need to create a story in their heads about something, imagining what is happening outside. And only with that, you have people thinking about the big war that is happening outside. The same thing if you want to do something maybe in space and you don't have the graphic designer who can make you space or the ships or anything like that. When you need something to be done and you don't have the money to do it, you're gonna get creative. Now, this doesn't mean that people that have a lot of money and can make things with a lot of money are not going to write great stories. That doesn't mean that. This is just for you. If you don't have a lot of money, don't think that you cannot do something, that you cannot write a screenplay and talk with your friends and make it and create it. Create something, make that list, or write as big as you want, then sit down and start changing things. Can I change this from this to this? Can I change this expensive car for a bicycle? Or maybe just a pure walk that can be as equal or more dramatic than the first thing that I wrote. Think about the dramatic impact that you're gonna give to each scene, okay? Think about that. It can be done. It can be done. My story is a sci-fi with robots, okay, in the future, and we don't have money now. this is something apart. You are always going to need money for this, because maybe you don't have the money to pay everybody, to pay the actors, to pay the technical crew, but at least you have to have money to pay for the food. And they need lots and lots of food because there are long hours of work. Maybe most of the time are 12 hours of working or 14 hours, and they need to have food every single time, and they have to be hydrated with water or juices or refreshments, good food, everything. And you need money to send this project to another festivals around the world. And there are festivals that are pretty cheap, maybe $20, but there are festivals that can cost like $100 to send your project. And that doesn't guarantee that it's gonna be shown. That's just to send your project and they decide they're gonna present it or not. At the end, you can only put it on YouTube so everybody can watch it. You just need people to watch your project, to watch um, what you did, what you wrote, so people can start little by little recognizing you. Anyway, I hope this have helped you with something. This tip, if you like it, just give it a thumbs up or write something in the comments if you want to learn about something else or me talking about any other tip. Or you can make your own tips and let me know because I want to keep on learning, of course. And I'll see you in the next video. Gracias, YouTube.